Genie grind and watch him get rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit but feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100,
Hello world, I am What If Study, and today we are doing What If Deku was born in the deep. So, the deep is, well, to give you an accurate definition, I need to start from the beginning. Deku's mother was, well, in the bed with, Hitori when they were sleeping, quite soundly, even. And then a rumble, as Hitori got up immediately. He's unable to sleep in such, loud noises happening. He checks outside the window, trying to not alert, his mother. As he checks outside and sees something astonishing. A massive sinkhole starting to widen from the middle of their cul-de-sac. On the middle of the cul-de-sac, this crumbling away effect starts to affect the world around it, and then farther and farther until it encompasses their house too. Hitori swiftly wakes up, as suddenly gravity starts going loopy a little bit as the ground crumbles below them, and their house with it. Hitori and Ino are both swept up into this massive earthquake. News reporters sort of go on the scene in gigantic helicopters that they would call SUVs, MUVs, that would, tell the news about this 10 mile of a radius, hole that's been expanding every single year, about 1 mile every year. However, they say that it's rapidly, sucking up more into it. They've done multiple tests by throwing stuff into it, trying to see if something comes out living. However, nothing has come back since. They don't know if those people are alive, if they're somewhere else, if it goes to the ends of the earth. They have no way of knowing. This abyssal hole is soon called the deep, and they build around it once more. However, it starts expanding. Year after year, it starts to consume more of the land around it, going from 1 mile to 2 miles to 4 miles until the year of 2018, where it consumes almost 10 miles around it. People start to get worried. Is this, the effect of something? Maybe something is punishing us for this. So they almost see it as an end of the world prospect. Deku, which is currently being born. We would begin actually this with where his mother and father are thrown into the mix. Suddenly all these people are smack dab in the middle of this graveyard, you might say. As all of them start to get up and secure themselves with the surrounding positions, many introduce themselves. Ones that stick out is actually All Might, one of the co-workers of, Hitori. He likes to be called All Might. After all, he is a social justice worker. He'd rather be called it. Mostly just because I'm lazy and I forgot the name of All Might. Now, All Might tells him of a plan that he has of trying to get out of here. However, before that, he is interrupted by a message dinging up in their faces. These game board messages, almost like a virtual game. One of them, one of the kids that was swiped up, and it says that in a game, you gain levels by killing monsters. And then everybody starts to freak out. All hell breaks loose. As everybody starts to freak out until Hitori speaks up, his booming voice going over the whole stadium. As you can tell by now, nobody actually has quirks at this time. This is a quirkless world where Deku is born into. For the sake of his wife, Hitori wants to calm everybody down so that no general mania freaks out too much. So he calms everybody down, telling them that he and his friend All Might have a plan. First, they will start killing villains, all the enemies themselves. Now, they all start to get teleported straight as they flop down into the world of the first floor. A wonderful place with rolling plains and beautiful scenery in a forest. However, they can see that in the forest, many monsters are watching. Many that are staring, glaring at them. Instantly, they get to start building houses, directed by one of Hitori's best friends, too, who is a house constructor himself, and he gets swiftly onto the job of that. Lumberjacks are hired, and they start to create a society around this. However, many of the criminals, someone actually dies during this time, killed by a monster. However, he had to be put out of his pain because his legs were stuck beneath a boulder fighting one of the werewolves in the forest, who were all level 4. Not high level compared to some of the things that they're going to have to fight in the later stages. However, this is still deadly, as one of the members has to take his life. But then he sees that he actually gains XP for this. No more will he have to chop lumber, but killing people gets you high levels. I mean, he was instantly boosted all the way up to level 20. He instantly starts slaughtering a lot of people around him, as, he picks up the axe and, just starts slaughtering. He's gaining massive levels. He's almost up to level 80 until All Might arrives on the scene, instantly administering a sedative into his neck, as he was also a doctor. They take him in and imprison him within the ground, a classic style. However, at level 80, he is quite strong, so they have to use all their might, keeping him sedated, which will take all of their, most of their medicine, basically. They don't want to kill him, however. Nobody wants to. So years go by as they get humble into the striking out into the forest. And, many become criminals, just like the imprisoned one, the hollow one. They call him a bunch of different names. They don't know where he is locked up now. However, many of them go after him. Only Hitori really knows. Hitori is kind of plagiarized for that. I mean, he's hunted down for that. However, Hitori is actually quite strong himself, going up to level 40 as a fire breather, able to take on the aspects of a dragon, which were always in the plains. They had no idea that there was other stages until one guy found the dragon, Hitori, and Hitori just feels this dragon's energy and follows it to its den. Once the dragon actually died of old age, the dragon trusted him with its powers. He was a great friend to that dragon, as the many years that he was there. The years in there only so much to him. As he grew old, almost to 40, Deku was born inside there, as he's the first and only born inside of the place. Almost 4,000 had entered that place. Only 2,000 had survived up to this point. Just from, people fighting each other over food and different stuff like that. Once he had gained this, he asked All Might if he'd be willing to go into the next stage with him. He leaves behind Ino, telling her that he promises to return. All Might, however, was the only one to return from the opposite stage, talking about a stone heart of gold, one from the Earth Mother herself. We had tried to touch it, however, it just destroyed our bones with fire. Even Hitori, who was able to spit fire, was still being torched and burned alive by it. The later stages are insane. No one can ever defeat it. All Might had gained the ability of Peacekeeper, which meant that the more people that believe in him, the more his power grows. His power is directly, contracted from that. It had taken almost 14 years, when Deku was 14, for All Might to gain back the power that he had before because of people losing hope inside of him. So when he gains back to that part, 2 was almost half as strong as him, around level 30 maybe. Deku was raised by 2 and Ino. Ino died when she was younger, trying to overcome the death of his father. However, she was unable to. She died of a weak heart. He was always told that by two. However, the portal beyond, the people that he would meet, the people that he would have to fight to survive here, he needed to train him. So, train him he did. Deku was basically born to fight by this point. Deku was taught in the ways of the later stages. All Might and 2 would get together, as 2 was able to basically take apart his body, which was connected by chain links, and, was able to disconnect the armor and use it as a suit other than himself. He was called the Suit Caster, actually. Quite a fun class to be. However, nobody chooses their class in this place. No one's able to, at least. Time goes on as Deku is trained in this art until he's level 14. He's about level 20 and a sword master. His class is basically unknown, but he is great with swords. Until he receives a class, they didn't want him to leave. However, Deku was tired of staying inside. No longer would he stay behind and watch as adventurers would go in and die to the next stages. All Might would warn them of the right before they would go in of what would happen if they did, but he only told Deku of what truly happened. Deku packed up stakes into a backpack, setting in crowbars, different usages of fires, one that would be easily stoked by just chipping stone together. He loads all this up into his backpack and visits the dragon. During the night, he had to go throughout the woods, defeating different werewolves as they hunted him down. However, he used his scent to drag them off into a different direction, rubbing it onto a stone that he had kept in his room for almost 2 years to have his scent on it, as he threw it in the opposite direction, causing all the werewolves to go off after it. After all, he covered it with his blood too. That would keep them at least for 20 minutes. That's all he needed to get close to the dragon's nest. As he entered into the cavernous depth well, this magma zone, that was once a magma zone actually, was now just charcoal and inactive, you may say, with a dragon's corpse lying in the dark depths of it. Deku reaches out onto the dragon's head, feeling onto its tusks and its kind mouth, the mouth of a smile that it died with. He saw also the shell of his father that had once sat next to the dragon, engraved on its side, almost making him cry. He will become the strongest like his father once before him. He looks as the dragon's eyes light up once more. His eye engraved with the dragon's eye too. It burns his face as he kneels down, almost letting all the stuff crush him under the weight. However, he holds onto his eye and then opens his hand back up to show a dragon's eye. Sort of a way of drawing an eye that had been implanted onto his eye. His eye now resembled that of a dragon, orange and spiked at the tips. It hurt like hell as his eyes bled. However, after he got used to it, it allowed him to see further, feel more, see people's inners, see each vital organ. This would suffice nicely. He was used to aiming after people's organs anyways, but this would make it easier. X-ray vision is quite the useful thing. Anyways, time to be on my way. As he starts to split open the guts of the dragon and opens it up to find a portal leading to the next stage. He enters into it as he comes out the other end soaked in blood and an infernal hellscape. This was not stage 2. This was stage 10. the one that his father had entered into. They said that the guys that went in here were sent to stage 2, where they would have to fight vampires, almost level 10, every single one. But now he was on the Infernal Plane. Level 90s roamed around like it was nothing. And the boss? Level 100. He stared dead into the eyes of one of the dragons that roamed on the plane, and that jumped out of the lava, coursing their ways right into his face and staring into his eyes as it stops. Its massive form and dragon-like body serpentine-like body were all surprising, yes. However, he had heard this from All Might, and two had told him about what to do against a dragon. He puffed out his chest and held his ground as he stared directly into the eyes of this dragon. It swarmed around him, roped itself around him, stopping him from leaving in any direction. However, he stood sturdy, not even batting an eye. This dragon, level maybe 80, was a lava serpentine. Oh, please, I'd rather you call me Syra. What the fuck? You never heard a dragon talk before? This about 80-foot tall dragon, that's a serpent, is talking to him. So that freaks him out for a second. And then he regains his composure, saying, I was just not aware. Right. You humans are always quite the treat. Anyways, that eye, as he says, right, the guardian of the first floor. He was a great friend of mine. I can tell. Were you his friend? What was his death like? At peace and with a true friend. It's bad to lie, human. He's like, it's the truth. Really? Are you sure? As she kind of like, after she snarls, she kind of like looks seriously into his eyes. You know I can tell the truth, right, human? That's what a dragon's eye is for. I am telling the truth 100%. As he he takes a gulp, trying to consume as much air as he can before he stalks. I'm very sure. Very. Well, alright, human. As he's like, she's clearly lying. She doesn't have that skill. I mean, I have the dragon's eye. She's like, you must be thinking right now that I'm lying because you have the dragon eye. My God, this woman. Not a woman, a dragon. Right, sorry. But, how do you know? You have a premature dragon eye. Come, let me explain. As he like awkwardly hops onto her back, trying to find a comfortable position. However, scales are not comfortable to sit on. I don't know where people get that idea. The scales are rough, hard, and sharp. They are not going to be fun at all to sit on. However, he kind of finds a way to lay on his stomach and feel like, it's dispersed. It doesn't feel that bad. So he lies on his stomach, kind of holding on for dear life as she jumps up into the air, spreading her wings out into a dragon-like formation, and takes off into the sky before any of the other dragons could find him, as she takes him all the way up into one of the dens. Aligor, please, welcome a new guest. A human? As this ground dragon, one of fat variety, with massive eyes and a tusk bigger than his father. He was like on bipedal. He was on his four legs. He wasn't on his 4 legs, however he could easily be. His massive arms only dwarfed his stubby legs. As he turned around from his gold pile to find Deku. This human, he has a dragon eye. How dare, as Syria, gets in front, just like, what did I tell you, Igor? Oh my God, you're so annoying. As she wraps around his arm, stopping him from hurting Deku, she says, Don't you worry about him. Please, come in. I'm fascinated in how you're going to grow. First of all, you need to kill your first dragon. Or did you kill him? No, not at all. I would never do that. He was a good dragon. I agree. He went to the first floor to watch over people. He was quite the nice dragon. I agree. Now, for your test. To see if you truly do belong in this realm, or to advance to the final demon, I will have you do a test, a trial of dragons, to unlock your full eye of dragon, and maybe possibly skin of dragon, maybe breath of dragon. Who knows? The world is your oyster. So please, follow me. She kind of opens up a gateway as she just smacks the wall, and all of the rocks crumble from the ceiling, smashing down on these skull and bones, and all that stuff is crushed underneath the weight, which then relieves back into a back sort of room that goes into the wall, which then relieves into the, underground, dragon underground of the graveyard, basically. All the ancient bones of dragons, thousands of feet big bones, almost looking like Subnautica's, underground place, stuff like that. It's just massive skulls all around. Incredible, he says. Now what I want you to do, I need you to steal one of the most precious things inside of this dungeon. It'll make it all crumble away, but you need to grab it fast. And there'll be hundreds of dragons after you. It's something called the Heartstone. It resides inside of the eldest dragon here. His name? Al Gore. Sounds like Al Gore. Sorry. Anyways, oh shit. I'm out of time, so I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.